Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It's Monday evening, and this evening we are talking adapting or adaptations that you've had to make. And the reason I've thought of this is I finished the big blanket last night, as you saw, and it was a bit cross eyed. I'd been crocheting for so long. And today I thought I'll start on my wrist warmers. Now, it's been a couple of years since I made wrist warmers, but got the wool out, got the knitting needles out, and I managed 4 rows before my thumb and my finger with the arthritis decided, no. Crocheting doesn't bother me nearly as much, so the wrist warmers are not going to be happening at the moment. So I've started crocheting another blanket for now till I work out what else I can make. So this is another blanket with just bits of wool that I have. But it got me to thinking how we have adapted over the last few years. Obviously, if you saw my video about how I've changed regarding electricity, I've adapted a lot of things to cut my electrical use. When I started prepping, if you saw my shopping at when I first started that, there was a lot of stuff that was oven cook, air fryer cook, breaded, ready meals, etc., etc. There's not nearly as much of that now. We have adapted to what we do. Batch cooking. I've got the triple slow cooker there, but I use a lot of dried veg, which is veg that I've bought in the supermarket, put in the dehydrator, and kept in jars. So I invested in the dehydrator, and I would say it's probably paid for itself at least once over by now, just with what it saved me on food wastage. So, I've adapted how I make my batch cooking. And I mean, it's made a huge difference because it means that if I get something at the supermarket that's reduced, I'm like, oh, I need to use that, or I take something out the freezer. But mainly if I've been shopping, if I get a lot of meat on a good day that's been reduced, I can put the 3 slow cookers on. I don't need to think, oh, I don't have fresh carrots, I don't have this, I've got it all there dried because I adapted and started dehydrating. Um, Most recently, I have changed again the way that I eat because my blood sugar was getting a bit iffy. And now I've cut my carbs to less than half, which has made me feel a lot healthier. I'm not as sleepy. And, that I needed to adapt, and I did. Um, Another thing I've noticed that I have changed or adapted is my shoes. I literally wear trainers all the time. Trainers or flat boots. Either like long riding boots or flat ankle boots because I've always had weak ankles. I mean, I literally can fall over one stone. If my heel lands in it in the wrong way, I'm on the floor. And probably about 10, 7 to 10 years ago, I started realizing that anything with a heel was being I had to be very careful how I walked. Kathleen used to take my arm if we had to go down a cobbled street if I was in heels. And I don't mean 4-inch stilettos, I'm talking about a 2-inch Cuban heel type thing, or a 2-inch block heel. I couldn't walk in them on anything that was remotely uneven. So Kathleen or Patrick would take my arm. Um, I remember not long after I'd met Patrick, we were walking down the street down in London in Hammersmith, and I told him I was accident prone. And we were walking down the street talking away, and I literally face planted. I went over my ankle on a paving slab that was uneven, and I just went down. And he had walked like 5 paces before he realised I wasn't beside him, looked behind him, and there's me picking myself up off the ground. So we don't do heels anymore. That's just being sensible because I am rather accident prone. But certainly, as I say, over the last few years with the cost of living crisis, we've all adapted, and some adaptations we will have noticed, and others we won't have. They'll just have been little bits here and there. So let me know what you've done, especially if it saved you money. Let's share that knowledge so that if anyone's not realised that that's a good thing, a good money saver, um, you know, let's help each other out. Let us know what you've been doing, what changes you've made to get you through this. And now I'm going to go and carry on crocheting my blanket and go and chat to the puppy. Catch you later.